Hi everyone, welcome back to Spiritual Growth Tarot. I'm Denise and I hope you guys are all doing really well, enjoying your summer. So I have a question from Starlight Gazer. Love that handle. And I think it's a gal, but I'm not sure. Let me know, but it doesn't matter. It honestly doesn't matter. I love all kinds, all species of us. But anyway, I think it's a she, wants to know, will Trump be on the other side? You know, will he have crossed over by the time all his court cases make it to trial? So basically we're looking at how well he's going to do health-wise between now and when the court cases go to trial. But of course there will be clues in the grand tableaus that I'm doing for him until it's no longer necessary. But let's look at just this specific topic alone. And I'll probably use the tarot and look more at his health, of course. Okay, so let me get the camera dropped down. I'll get this going. Okay, so as usual, I'm using the Radiant Wise Spirit Tarot by Lo Scarabeo. And I think it's a good idea to just look at, I love this question, to look into Dump's health, or to see if he'll be on the other side, by the time all his court cases go to trial. But let's just, I was thinking, how about I'll just do a health reading on him from this day forward, which is July 10th, 2021. And my intention is to draw cards as to timing. So now, a little further into future, further into future, and further into future. And I can fit 6 columns. So let's just do that. And with the intention to see how what kind of stress, like how's his health going to do? How is his health going to hold up under the scrutiny of all these court cases that are coming down on him? Of course, Trump org is being looked into deeply, and he'll probably be next. Okay. Donald John Trump's health. Truth only as to Donald John Trump's health. And of course not to send any negativity his way, because if we stay in our love force, then we're protected from his negativity. But we do want to see justice. So let's see. He's already, I can feel, I'm empathing a little bit. He doesn't feel as fearful as he usually does. Sometimes it tapped into, he's just like kind of literally frozen inside in fear and moves through life kind of like a, lizard brain, reptile, just go anyway. But now I'm feeling a lot of confusion. Like he's torn in so many directions. He doesn't know which way he's going. Oh, and I just heard he's being directed under the advice of other people. Yeah, man. See, now that's the thing when it comes to the narcissistic personality disorder. Yes, it's all about power and control, mostly control. And yes, in his case, he does need tremendous amounts of attention. And yes, he is, besides just the, normal narcissistic personality disorder, he's also a psychopath. So, but with that, with both of those situations, with all of that, deep down inside, those people do not have a connection to who they really are. Their sense of self is mirrored back to them only by what other people think and say and do towards them. So, yeah, and yes, they will go towards whatever it is that they want most, wherever they're getting the attention most, and then they'll push away the other negative attention if it's coming around. They don't want to hear or see any of that. So they don't get to the truth. They don't have any realistic feedback from their environment. And then when they're in a position of power, they implode on themselves even worse. So to all the narcissistic, psychopathic control monsters out there, let Donald John Trump be your warning. Look what he's done in his life. You only get away with it for so long. Okay, so forces in motion currently with his health. Okay. Whew. His biggest challenge with his health. Ooh. Okay. And then I'm just going to do as many cards as I can fit, and let's go from now until far out into the future, and, health check. Okay. That's this one. Okay. Okay. Alrighty then. So currently with this tower here, things are falling apart. On the level of health, when you have the Tower card, it's a big old wake-up call. It can be a breakdown. And it can also be an accident. I mean, this card's traditionally ruled by Mars, but I always feel Uranus is in there because it's sudden. Well, it seems to be sudden. It happens suddenly. And he has a Sun conjunct Uranus in his, natal chart. You guys all know that, I'm sure. So, yeah, he was meant to, kind of shake things up and wake up, actually. He needed to wake up. But he never did. So this is what happens, the crown is taken off and there's a fall. So, but again, on the health level, I feel like it can be an infection, it can be a fever, it can be just tons of arguments and stress that makes him, like I was saying before, implode on himself. And then attack. Sometimes it can be an attack. Sometimes someone can attack you from the outside, and then other times it can be, like I said, an accident, which would be a very Uranian occurrence. Now, it's definitely, if it's, on all levels, whether it's health or not, but of course the focus here was on his health. This is a card of upheaval and sudden change and sometimes a big disaster. And like I said before, breakdown. So his biggest challenge with the moon coming through reversed, well, I feel like that has to do with his lymphatic system and his addictions and his sleep issues. I don't know if he has sleep apnea. I don't know if I would think that he probably most likely has insomnia. But most of all, his biggest health issue is his paranoia, his depression, his insanity. And it's sometimes a card of cancers. And other times it can be, because it's ruled by Pisces, it can be issues with the feet, which can happen because of addictions too. Because when your lymphatic system is all out of whack, which is what happens with addictions, because your body can only take so much numbing out. What happens is that the flow of fluids does not flow in the right direction. It just doesn't flow. It doesn't flow. So there's a backup. There's a backup of fluids. But then again, on the health level too, insanity, because this is a card when the moon comes through reversed, it's the card of insanity. So, okay. But moving ahead in time, currently, with the Hermit reversed over here, well, goodness, it can be some type of an acute illness, sometimes with the Hermit, because, it literally has you upside down. And it's ruled by Virgo, and Virgo is all about the health. It can be having experiences where there's a flu, this could be a COVID card. He could get COVID again, and that happens. It happens to a lot of people. Of course, if he got it that bad again, would he have the same? He would. He would still be he'd still be able to go to Walter Reed and get the same medical care he had before. So there's that. But anyway, with the Hermit reversed, I get the feeling that with this combination here, I get the feeling like it could be more about his digestion not working right, because he's not assimilating. So this would be, currently he's not assimilating his, food that he takes in. And of course, with these cards here, it makes it even worse. Because if you're in fear and paranoia all the time, and you've got mental illness going on, and things are breaking down in your life, and your health is breaking down in your life, then of course your digestion is going to be off, just because of that sheer amount of stress. But this card can be headaches. It can be because it's mostly about digestion. But it can be, like I was saying before, flus or virus and colds, things like that. So that's nothing major. But then with this Queen of Swords here reversed, my goodness. He's just, this is so much about cruelty when this card comes through reversed. I feel like it's his own cruelty that has him upside down, with his head just, going in the wrong direction. His head's not working correctly, is what I just heard. His brain isn't working correctly. And of course that goes back here with the insanity. So it's more of a mental issue going on right now than anything else. But with the Queen of Swords, health-wise, it can be just this chronic imbalance to where might not even be walking correctly. And it could be sometimes it can be lower back issues too. But it brings in that element of chronic imbalances. Sometimes it's toxic, toxins. The Queen of Swords reverse can bring in something toxic into his diet, or breathing in toxins because it's, an air situation, a suit of air. But it's also very mental. So something's not right with his head. We all know that. And there could be something very toxic going on within him, and that could have to do with the drugs he's been taking all his life. It could be that his lymphatic system isn't working correctly because he's addicted to all these. I really believe he's been a drug addict all his life, but they're probably legal meds now. And I think that's one of the things that being president, just one of the things gifted him with was the ability to get off of, street drugs and onto legal pharmaceuticals. But still, the toll on the liver and kidneys does not stop, and especially on the lymphatic system. So again, these cards are further reiterating what's going on here. And these two cards will be important to reflect on with all of, the future cards here too. So then moving forward, so it feels like there's something acutely wrong right now, but then moving forward with the Six of Swords, I think that he's feeling that there's been some type of, I think, regretful situation going on, and I think he knows that he needs to change. He really knows that he needs to change. But with the Two of Swords, again, all these swords, and then this Virgo card, which is ruled by Mercury, which is also very mental. Two of Swords brings us into not making good choices, having that indecision and blocked emotional energy, right? Again here. It can be denial sometimes too, and it can also be drugs. So the Two of Swords can definitely be, you're at a crossroads, and it can be very dangerous. And even though this card is of the swords, there's a lot of water here, and there's water here too. So there's this need for balancing emotions, his emotional body, and making good choices. So I feel like he's going through the confrontation, and it's going to just get worse. But then moving forward with the Ace of Cups, well, he might have a lot of overwhelming emotions that come through. And it can be that because he really, really, really wants to be seen, and he wants to win. So this overwhelming emotional energy to win. So this would be, I'm thinking, once he's actually having to, well, I don't know if he'll ever show up and go to court. He wouldn't have to. He can always send his attorneys. But, this is coming in. Emotional energy, and he's going to be seen and recognized for all of his emotional outbursts. This can also be him putting himself out there emotionally to be, at his rallies, because he lives off of that attention. He really, really just has to have the attention. He craves it. And that's, that causes health issues when you've got that demand going on inside of you all the time. So anyway, moving forward with the Five of Pentacles, goodness, when it comes to health issues here with this card, this can have again, that mental fog kind of quality to it, like I was feeling when I was shuffling the cards, just that confusion. And of course, this is a loss of, it's a financial loss, it's poverty, it is tons and tons of worry. And feeling, of course, very isolated because you're out in the cold. And yeah, he might have his other followers and, his other crazy people that still follow him. But nobody's happy with, he's not happy and they're not happy. And then again, sometimes this card can be a respiratory issue. But for most of all, just I get that his senses are just very, very dull. But that's who he is, he's a dull kind of a guy. And then here with the Seven of Swords reversed, or Seven of Pentacles reversed. This is so interesting. Well, this is a watery card. We have two water cards. But mostly it's mental and physical. But with the Seven of Pentacles reversed, I feel like he's really frustrated. He's in fear that there's not enough. These two cards connect deeply. He could be having some OCD issues because sometimes, the pentacles, they're round and you just spin around within the physical realm, just spin, 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 spin. And it's pretty directionless. There's no long-term vision when this card is reversed. So, that's why it's very, very frustrating. But also just feeling, like he doesn't have enough. Both of these cards are feeling like he doesn't have enough. So this is spelling out the loss of his financial empire. And it could affect him by bringing him more inward into a place of, like I said, OCDs, obsessive compulsive disorders, and then lots of confusion because he just keeps spinning and spinning and spinning. Now with the Ace of Swords here, further out into the future, when this is reversed, it's surgeries. It's also memory loss. And again, tons of confusion and chaos. And this need to be right and this need to win is usually indicative of, why there's all the confusion. So, lies, confusion, possibility of surgery, definitely memory loss. That's come through in so many readings. Way back, before I even started my channel and I was doing readings on him, almost every day in my kitchen, news would come on and I'd be like, oh, what the heck? And then I'd do a reading on it real quick. I would always get that he was the demented demagogue and that it would be Alzheimer's, that would bring him down. But I don't, I never knew if his health, although Alzheimer's, does affect your health deeply. I never knew if it was going to be heart attack or Alzheimer's. Now, which would get him first. Now, looking at these cards, I feel like it's Alzheimer's. I feel like that's what will get him. He's not going to be able to keep up mentally with all the information that's coming through with the with all these court cases. He's not going to be able to keep up. It's going to put him upside down. And then with the Wheel of Fortune, it's very possible that that something changes. This card can be very, very karmic. It's based on the law of cause and effect. Because we make choices and because of our actions and our attitudes and all of our emotional, forces within, that's what spins our world. So this is a card of karma, and karmic life cycles, and it's his destiny. And this is the change in his life. The change, his brain not working. I mean, it doesn't work well right now, but imagine it, a couple of years from now after all the stress. So I didn't assign a timeline here. Oh, I just feel like I just heard 2023, by 2023. Yeah. You and I we will have all forgotten what came through in this reading, so. But, it's okay. And I do have, I do have scheduled by the end of, definitely before the 24th of July, like I said, I do need to do another grand tableau on him. And I can't remember if I used the Lenormand or the Kipper last time, but I will for sure use the Kipper this next time because that deck shows, other players involved, and there's a lot more financial cards in it than with the, I don't know, the Lenormand is great for situations, but the Kipper shows there's more about relations and finances, I suppose. I don't know, they're both good. They're both excellent. So, you know what? Why don't I, well, let's see, let me think. When it comes to health, yeah, you know what? I think I can do it here. I think these cards are about the same size. Let's do this. Let's bring in this deck here, this Tiro Marchetti's Gilded Reverie, and it's a Lenormand deck that has, or Lenormand, I should say. I always want to put an A in there. A. But it does have a lot that's related to health in here. Especially mental health, because we do have extended, like I said, it's an expanded edition, so I think we have 39 or 40 cards. But yeah, let's look at it through the lens of the Lenormand. Trump's health. And since I heard 2023, let's let that be the end date. Okay. Well, I guess that's the first card that wants to come out. Okay, so I don't know how many I'm going to be able to fit. Just bear with me. Donald John Trump's health. Okay, there's our first row. Heck, I might be able to fit 3 rows. Let's see. Yeah, awesome. Okay, well, let me get the cards drawn first. Okay, so, yeah, it is this one. And there we go with the mental problems right there. Yeah, those 2 cards right there, well, all I need is a clouds, and for sure, oh, it could be a heart issue too. These 2 cards are Alzheimer's. Yeah. Donald John Trump's health between now and 2023. There he is, and he's not in an auspicious position at all. He shows up down at the bottom and pointing off the spread. So that means all these cards here are not going to work out. I mean, all that will be working against him. I guess Melania's there. Okay. Let's get this row framed up here first. I think they'll all fit. Yeah, just barely. Have to go up a little more. Hang in there with me. Bear with me and my OCD. But if I don't move it up all the way, you're not going to be able to see this bottom row. And my camera has a tendency to show me one thing, and then I notice I'm looking back, uploaded, sometimes the sides over here are cut off. So I've got to allow a little more room. Okay, now I should be able to get this going the right way. Will that fit? Yeah, just barely. Well, here, hold on. I'm going to stop the camera and raise it just a little bit. Be right back. Okay, so I think they're all framed in now. Thanks for bearing with me there. Okay, so rather than looking, you know, like in a traditional grand tableau where you read all the corners, well, I can still read the corners to frame it in, but I'm looking at more of a timeline, so between now and 2023, and of course I do have 7 rows here, so this will still be the theme, okay? The center row will be the theme, and then I'll read these 4 corners, and then I'll do it as a timeline. And this is all under the, looking under the context of his health. Okay, so right here with this theme, we're seeing that there's big changes and any recovery that he may have, he's going to, or changes that he has is going to be masked. Masked. He's not going to, he'll be very duplicitous about it. He's not going to let anyone know how bad he's actually doing. Now, sometimes this card can be a little bit of a recovery, but I don't really see it that way. I see it could be leg problems, issues, getting around the way he wants to get around. And then with this bridge card here, we have to link it to these 2 cards because it's the bridge to these 2 cards. And because the house knights up here to the storks, legs, the foundation, the structural system of his body, his skeletal system is going under some change. He will be undergoing some change, but he's not going to talk about it. No one's going to know except maybe he and his doctors. And there's also some issue with his nervous system with the mice here. So his skeletal system and his nervous system, it will be the entire overlay of, his health between now and 2023. And again, here we go with the obsessive compulsive disorders, the exhaustion, the ADD, the toxic, his ulcer, or maybe an ulcer that could be kind of toxic, his anxiety. It can be high anxiety. It would be even worse if we had the clouds in here. But I think he's probably using drugs to numb out the anxiety. So it's more about toxins. And again, this can be a virus. Again, this could be COVID. It could be some type of an infection. But it's very parasitic when it comes to, just like he is, when it comes to health. He's a parasite on the United States of America and other countries as well, and of course that should relate back to his health at some point, because that's the way the universe works. What you put out there, you get back. Was it John Lennon said, "You get what you give"? Or maybe it was one of the other Beatles, or maybe they heard it from Ram Dass. Maybe I don't know, or another Maharishi. But anyway. You get what you give, that's for sure. So the 4 corners here shows he's at a crossroads with this. This card is about choices, but it's definitely a crossroads. And is he going to take the higher path? I don't know. On a health level, it's his circulatory system. It's his arteries and his veins. And there's complications going on up here with the snake. This is also circulatory system. It's also intestines, colon, it's digestion, and it's the possibility for, like I was saying before over here, colds and flu. And so at a crossroads with his digestive system, possible issue with colds and flu, and then with the book, the book is all about brain issues. This would be the card that would come up in a Lenormand reading, I should say, when you're someone like him who had a cognitive test. Remember when he talked about his cognitive test? He's the one that'll always, just say the thing that sinks him. But anyway. This card can be cognitive testing. It can be anything to do with the brain. It can have to do with all types of tests. And it can, mostly brain and memory issues, but it can also be an unknown cause that there could be something unknown that's brewing underneath. And what's brewing underneath is the fact that he's a lunatic. We know it. We can see it. His psychic processes have never worked well. He's finally at the place where he's just crazy. And that's what's framing in this whole, reading. So just hold on to that. So time-wise, currently, he is having digestive problems. This does go with that hermit reverse that we had in the tarot. He is having mental issues. He is having trouble thinking clearly and communicating clearly. He could be having trouble with, with his throat as well. There's that possibility. Because, when you're a liar for so many years, I would imagine you'd have fifth chakra issues, right? Makes sense to me. And then we have to look at this row here, or at least the cards surrounding. And this is a card of old age here with the lilies. It also has to do with your vision and your hearing. And like I said before, it's our Alzheimer's card. And it's with this card, when it comes to a health issue, it can show like a treatment or some kind of regimen or whatever, that's prolonged. And all of this is hanging over him. And then up here again we have the lymphatic system showing up here again, just like it did in the tarot. The ring card in the Lenormand is the lymphatic system. It's how things move through the body, circulate, go round and around and around. This card in a health issue or a health reading, as this would be routine testing, and that goes on for a long time. And so he's, that's going to be the thing. Especially when these, the cards that touch the corner cards are really important. So routine testing. Sorry if I'm moving around too fast with a chopstick. I know that can be annoying. Cats love it though. Anyway, back to this guy. Routine testing for his cognitive decline, and that's just hanging over him for the rest of his life. And even though I'm ending this in 2023, still we have all the clues here for, his inescapable health issues that are just dogging him, and they will be. And then moving forward, further on, the mountain has to do with the head issues. It has to do with things that don't move very quickly. It can be, in a health reading, it can be lots of time in bed. It can be constipation, dehydration, because they both go together. If you're dehydrated, you're going to be constipated. And he's already got the colon issues here. But this is a card of immobility. And these two together would be coldness, hardening of the arteries in the heart. So there's that going on too. His rigid heart, the rigidity, the wall around his heart, which has been, just the way his body has operated all these years. He's always had a hard time opening his heart. He used to bully his little brother, Robert. He bullied him. That was why they sent him away. I didn't realize that until I read Mary Trump's book, but that's the reason they sent him to military camp when he was 13. Yeah. So, and the mountain card knights over here to the crossroads, or the path. So the path he's on with his circulatory system of his heart is just that it's all very rigid. Things are not circulating correctly. And then lymphatic system knighting over here to the, well, it knights in a couple of places actually. But let's go here first. Knighting over to his lymphatic system, knighting to his skeletal system. That's a setup for some type of like bone cancer. When your lymphatic system is backed up and things don't flow freely, that really affects your bone marrow. When you're not feeling and working on your emotional issues as an adult, and you've gone all these years, he's 75 and he's never worked on himself. All he's done is drugged himself to oblivion and just kept pushing and going towards what he wanted. So the base, the foundation of his health is not good. This is, I read directionally, so all these cards behind him are really working against him, and I don't think he sees what's coming. But his skeletal system will be the bridge to this like toxic breakdown in his body. And again, his heart, because the mice knights up here to the heart. This is how well does the pump work in his body? Well, not well at all with the mountain hanging over it. And that is the foundation of anyone's health. So, okay, then moving forward, I've covered this row, and I did the knighting, so I'm going to let that one go, except the stork knights over here to the lilies. So changes in his mental, cognitive functions is definitely there. And again, because his card landed down here in the bottom row, all these cards up here, these two rows, weigh down on him. And he's at a crossroads, right here, at a crossroads. And literally exiting the reading. So I don't see him really being here, like present and clearly with his brain working. I don't see him being there in 2023. I see him being insane and maybe having to go away to some type of an, loony bin type of a situation, some type of a home situation under house arrest maybe, where or just in a place where he is in such decline he can't get out and do what he wants anymore. So moving forward, with the whip, this has to do with muscles and tendons and repetitive, it could be like exercise, but it's also one of the major cards of addiction. And again, OCDs, obsessive compulsive disorders. And he is obsessively compulsively on social, or used to be on social media, masking the burden that he's going through. But now that he can't be, I think he got banned from Twitter forever, I think. And I don't know if the other ones, yeah, I haven't stayed, up to date on that, but I thought I heard one of them banned him forever, so there's that. This is also a card of fevers and like, pulling a muscle and tendons, things like that. So that could be out golfing and, he pulls a tendon, something like that. There's that possibility. But again, back to the addictions. I feel like the addictions are going to be the thing that, like navigates the the compass of his brain. It just is not going to be working correctly. Yeah, directionally, he just really doesn't know where to go. He's just out of it. And he's got such an abusive mental personality that his demand to be seen, his interaction with society is just a big mask. And that's been his outlet, this bridge to repeatedly just go, go, go. But in the future, he's going to have to be receiving more, to try. He's going to have to try to, well, on one level, this can be Melania seeing him as a very toxic person, and she just, this having to travel across this bridge to go home to him. Is not something she wants to do. But on another level, this could be his inner feminine that is just, he's insane. And he's very toxic. So, I guess that's the best way I can read that. And just really, really burdened. This is a card of pain and hardship. That's the bridge he's headed towards, is pain and hardship. That's what he will be traversing. Toxic pain and hardship within his brain. And while he's there obsessing around in all those marbles are bouncing off each other, he's probably going to be obsessing about Melania. Obsessing Melania. Knighting 2 down, 1 over, or 2 over and 1 down. Obsessing about Melania. Obsessing about, where is she? Where is Melania? Why doesn't she stay home with me? Oh my God. But on a health level, the ship card is all about vertigo, motion sickness. It's also about circulation because it's ruled by Jupiter. Just imagine like Jupiter rules travel. So you see travel, and that can help us remember Jupiter travel. Jupiter also rules the liver and the gallbladder and circulation in our bodies. And there's a major toxic issue going on there. And again, back to the fact that he's a drug addict. It's finally all just going to implode on him. As far as health goes with the moon, like I said, it's lunacy. He's just crazy. He's crazy, and he's crazy about the way that he needs to like socially interact constantly, repetitively. Because these cards here, these all connect. So this diagonal here is his insanity, that he doesn't even realize how insane he is. He's just, but it's his cross to bear. And then this insane need to be seen, insane need to have attention. So he's going to get that someday. He's going to be publicly humiliated even more. And, that's his cross to bear. That's what happens when you have a demand for attention and you run for president when you've been, corrupt, when you've been a tax evader and a fraud and, insurance fraud and maybe it'll come out about the RICO charges someday. I don't know about that, but we can imagine that that's all in there because we have brains that function well. But he doesn't. So, okay. That's all I have for the health of Donald John Trump. Okay. Thanks, you guys. Take good care. Bye.